What's up, everyone? Jake here with Apocalypse, and welcome to my official ranking of the 2019 geek movies. This is my most anticipated list for the year. There are 11 of these movies, and so we're going to be obviously doing our top 10, and one of those movies is going to be left off. And so before I get to my ranking and my most anticipated movies of the year for geek movies, I'll be talking about the one honorable mention I have, which is Sonic the Hedgehog. I will say this, and look, this may be the 11th spot on all of our lists, and for me personally, I'm not solidifying it there not because I'm not looking forward to it. I just haven't seen anything from it. I don't really know what to expect. We've seen that one poster, which is, so-so. But for right now, I have Sonic the Hedgehog sitting at 11, and for right now, that is not a bad thing because we just haven't seen anything from that. But it is a good lead into what number 10 is because this list is absolutely crazy, and I had a very hard time putting together. But, I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get to it. Alright, so number 10 on my most anticipated list for geek movies is Hellboy. Now, I talked about this in our overall consensus list. I'm telling you that if this movie hadn't gotten a trailer just a few weeks ago, this movie would probably be higher on my list. The trailer definitely kind of made me tamper my expectations a little bit. I was kind of underwhelmed by it. I didn't really like the tone they were going for. Again, it is just a trailer. We've seen movies before with plenty of bad trailers that end up being great. The most recent one is Edge of Tomorrow. Horrible trailers, great movie. This could easily be doing the same. I like what they're doing with the hard R. I love David Harbour taking over the role from Ron Perlman. The makeup and the look of him looks great. The tone. I mentioned that the trailer may have led us on a little bit, and we may be seeing something a little bit differently. I hope it's bloody. I hope it's violent. I hope it's darker than what we got from the Guillermo del Toro ones, even though those ones were dark as well. But again, like I said, as I started this, the trailer definitely had me tamper my expectations a little bit, which is why it ranks in at number 10 for me. Alright, well now this is where my list starts to get really difficult. I have Dark Phoenix sitting at number 9. Now, before everyone starts blowing up on me in the comments, I'm just going to say this as I lead into all these movies. Every movie from here on out, I have excitement for. I'm really looking forward to just everything above this one. I'm looking forward to a little bit more. And so, obviously, there's some things that kind of make me hold my expectations back. One being Simon Kinberg as a director. We haven't seen anything from him. He's one of the best working producers in the business right now, as well as writers, and he's been involved with the X-Men franchise for a long time. But we've also seen writers take the directing spot and end up with horrible movies. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just, I'm holding my expectations a little bit until I get back. I don't want them to be too high and then be disappointed with what I get. I don't want it to be, just good and me be disappointed with it. I want to have, mild expectations and then really enjoy what I'm seeing. I like the cast that they have. I like the storyline, obviously, with Jean Grey. They're doing that stuff. They're kind of expanding on it. I'm just hoping that Simon Kinberg is really able to deliver on this one. Because it could end up being the last X-Men movie we've seen from Fox as they go over to Disney. And so we'll see once this movie comes out in June. Going from number 9 to number 8 leads right into another X-Men property. I have New Mutants in here. Now, the only reason why I have it above Dark Phoenix is because this movie is trying something we've never seen before in the genre. They're giving us a horror movie. Now, that first trailer we saw, which seemed like so long ago, was a great introduction into what they're trying to do. It was a really good trailer. Then they just try to shift everything around. They didn't like what they were doing. They wanted to add more characters and more horror elements. And, I like the director who did The Fault in Our Stars. I think he's a really good director. I think his name is Josh Boone. I like the cast as well and the characters they're playing specifically. We have Cannonball in there. We have Magic in there. A couple others. Maisie Williams is playing the werewolf character. And so, there's things that I like about it. I just think that all the things behind the scenes have, disappointed me, I guess is the best word, because I had such, expectations for it, and then it kind of just let me down, which is why it's sitting at number 8 for me. But if I end up hearing good word about it, I could be looking forward to a little bit more. But for right now, I have New Mutants sitting at the number 8 spot. All right, now hitting number 7, I have one of the biggest surprises on my list for sure. That is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Now, leading up to this trailer that was dropped just a month or two ago, I did not like the idea of this movie. I wanted them to do a legit live-action Pokemon movie. I played the games as a kid. I collected the cards. I have a connection with Pokemon that I will always have. And so I was just questioning it. And then that first trailer dropped, and I was very surprised with what they were doing. I enjoyed seeing Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. I enjoyed the world that they seem to be building around this. It could end up leading into what I exactly want with the real Pokemon movie. But for right now, this looks like a fun time. Like I said, Ryan Reynolds looks great as Pikachu. I hope that the human characters are just as good as the Pokemon characters. I hope the storyline holds up through an entire 90-minute run or however long it is. But for right now, from what I'm seeing from Detective Pikachu, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good time, and it's also going to absolutely crush at the box office. This movie's going to make a ton of money, whether or not it's, you know, average, good, bad, whatever it is. That weekend is going to be massive for this movie, and I hope I'm there, and I'm expecting to be there. And so, at number 7 for me on my geek list of 2019 is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. All right, guys, moving on to number 6. Before we get to my top 5, I have Joker, the DC spin-off, if you will, starring Joaquin Phoenix and directed by Todd Phillips. Look, the only reason that I'm going to be saying that this movie ranks anything lower than 5 on my list is specifically because of Todd Phillips. Now, I like what he does with certain movies. Obviously, he has the Hangover trilogy. He did War Dogs just a few years ago. I like what he does with movies, but for me personally, he's the only real question mark I have about it, which is why it kind of lowers on my list a little bit. I think Joaquin Phoenix is a great choice as the Joker. It's obvious choice. It makes sense. And I think it's interesting that they're doing a little bit of a spin-off. They're telling a different story. And so I'm looking forward to it. You have Zazie Beetz in there. You have Robert De Niro in there, which is exciting. But Todd Phillips is the definite biggest question mark for me, which is why it ranks in at number 6 for me. But again, I could see that first trailer and be absolutely blown away by it. So for right now, I'm just sitting back, waiting to see more from this movie, and hopefully I get much more excited for Joker as the year goes on. All right, so we're moving on to top 5. Now, sitting in the number 5 spot, cracking that top 5 is Shazam. Now, if you've seen our trailer reaction for this movie, you can see that I got absolutely hammered in the comments for questioning this movie and not really enjoying the trailer like I had hoped I would. And people were calling me a Marvel shill and all this, you know, bad stuff or whatever. I don't care. I never compared it to Marvel or anything like that. For the movie itself, look, I have certain things that I want from certain movies, and I'm looking forward to all movies until, you know, I see the movie and then I decide I don't like it. And I'm still looking forward to this movie. I think Zachary Levi is a great choice for this character. He's fantastic in everything he does, especially over the last couple of years. The director, forgetting his name, I think his last name is Sandberg. I think he is great. What he has done with some of those horror movies in the past is fantastic. The vibe of the movie, while it may take me some time to get used to, I think it's a perfect choice for DC to do right now, especially coming off of Aquaman and Wonder Woman. These standalone movies are crushing, and I definitely have an idea that this movie will as well. I think it could end up swaying me as the trailer's going on. We're supposed to be getting a trailer here pretty soon, which I hope turns me around on it, but for right now, I'm locking in Shazam at number 5. All right, so number 4 on our list, this is where the list starts getting really, really complicated. I have Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, any other year, this movie could easily be ranking at number 1 for geek movies, but there are some massive juggernauts ahead of it. Now, Spider-Man Homecoming, for me, is the best Spider-Man movie we've ever had. It is the epitome of what Spider-Man should be, which is why I'm looking forward to the sequel so much. You have John Watts returning, you have Tom Holland, you have his entire supporting cast of high schoolers returning around him. We're supposed to be getting more Michael Keaton's Vulture, possibly leading into a Sinister Six down the road. And then the big one, Jake Gyllenhaal playing Mysterio. He right now, and has been for a while, my favorite working actor. I think anything he does, he crushes. I will watch any movie that he is in, and it really excites me that he's doing this type of role. Especially because he's supposed to start out as Spider-Man's ally and then move into a villain role, which means he's going to be in the MCU for a while, which is very exciting. And so there's many things to look forward to about this movie. We haven't seen any footage yet, but I have no doubt that it's going to absolutely crush. I didn't mention we have Nick Fury in there as well, which is exciting. And then a couple years ago, we had Kevin Feige come out and said that this movie's going to, you know, turn us around and venture us into a new phase for Marvel, which is always exciting. And so Spider-Man Far From Home is definitely one I'm looking forward to a lot. But number 4 spot, don't discount it. That is a really good spot for this movie. All right, guys, moving into our top 3, I have Captain Marvel sitting at that final podium spot. Look, I'm an avid Captain Marvel fan. I've read the comic books. I love the character of Karen Danvers. I've been following Brie Larson for a very, very long time, Sacramento's own. So we have a connection here with her Apocalypse because she's in our area. This movie looks fantastic. This final trailer that just dropped on the National Championship game was by far the best one. It gets me really excited. The action, the mythology, the idea that it's based in the 90s, how she's going to be ventured into the early present day stuff, how she connects into present day Marvel with Avengers Endgame. She's going to be in that movie as well. There's so many things to look forward to this movie. I'm so excited, and it's hard to bring out words for it because it's almost here. It's only 2 months away, and so hitting that 3 spot in the final podium, we have the Brie Larson-led Captain Marvel movie. Let's get that movie here. All right, guys, we're down to our final 2 now. The sooner I say this movie, you're gonna know what's at number 1, and I had a hard time ranking this. I went back and forth. The number 2 spot sat at number 1 for quite a while, and then I flipped it because I just had an epiphany. But for number 2 right now, I have Avengers Endgame. Look, I'm looking forward to this movie probably more than anybody, or just as much as anybody. It's wrapping up the storyline we've connected to for the last 10 years. There's so many things to look forward to. I mean, like I just mentioned, you have Captain Marvel in there. The Avengers are going to be back together. Do the dusted characters come back? Which of the dusted characters come back? What does the world look like after this movie? It's mind-boggling this type of movie is coming out, and so it's hard to explain why we're so excited about it, but we are, and we're gonna be there. Probably gonna watch it 4 times in a week. But Avengers Endgame, there's so many things to look forward to, and it comes out in just a couple months, and so and we're definitely gonna be covering everything this movie comes out for. So, but currently, right now, and it could change on any given day, I have Avengers Endgame sitting at number 2. So obviously, now that you know Avengers is at number 2, I have Star Wars Episode 9 at number 1. And like I mentioned, I had Endgame sitting at number 1 for quite a while. And then I thought to myself, well, what's the one movie that I can personally say that I can't really go without seeing? And for me, right this second, it's Episode 9. And there's multiple reasons why. One, I just have a massive connection with Star Wars. It's my all-time favorite franchise. I grew up on it. I read all the canon stuff. I listen to all the canon stuff. It's just what I do, and so it's the reason why it sits at number 1 for me. I want to see what happens. I want to see what J.J. Abrams does with this franchise. Kylo Ren, Rey. Do we get Force Ghost Luke in there? Is it a little bit more than Force Ghost Luke? The First Order, the Resistance. What happens to Leia? There's so many things to look forward to this movie. And like I said, I'm just a Star Wars guy, which is why it ranks it at number 1 for me. And so, it is what it is. And so, topping out my list at number 1 for my 2019 Most Anticipated Geek Movies, Star Wars Episode 9. Let's get this movie out here. Even though it's almost a year away, I'm so looking forward to this movie. Cannot wait for it to be here. Alright guys, well there you go. There is my 2019 Most Anticipated Geek Movies. That is quite a list, and like I said earlier, I had a very difficult time putting this thing together. All these movies have aspects that I'm looking forward to, and they're spread out through the year, which is very exciting. We're going to have these movies all year long, and I can't wait to get to the end of the year. We see what our rankings really look like after watching all of them. But for right now, I'm solidifying that as my list for 2019. Head down in the comments, let me know what you think of the list. Where would you place some of these movies? Which ones are you looking forward to the most? Head down there, leave some thoughts. We'll definitely get back to you. Also, head to apocalypsemovies.com. This YouTube channel for all kinds of end of the year videos for 2018, and then all of our 2019 most anticipated videos as well. All of us here at the crew have our individual lists, which you can check out on the channel. We'll have those up all week long, and then we'll get into some other stuff as well as the year goes on. So again, thank you for joining me on my 2019 list, and I'll see you guys next time.